forest was dense, and the trees loomed overhead, casting dappled shadows on the ground. I was alone and lost, my compass malfunctioning, and the sun was quickly setting. I needed to find shelter soon. As I wandered through the trees, I stumbled upon a clearing. It was bathed in an eerie green light, and two figures were hunched over a cauldron in the center. As I approached, I realized that they were witches. I froze, unsure of what to do. The witches had their backs to me, so I could not see their faces, but I knew that they were dangerous. I tried to back away, but a branch snapped under my foot, alerting the witches to my presence. They turned around in unison, and I saw their faces for the first time. They were both old and wizened, with sharp features and black eyes that glinted in the light. They sneered at me, and I felt a chill run down my spine. "What do you want?" one of the witches cackled. I'm lost," I stammered. "I was just looking for shelter." The witches cackled again, and I knew that I was in trouble. "Perhaps you could be of use to us," the other witch said. "We need a sacrifice for our next ritual." Once I heard that, I tried to book it out of there, but the witches were too fast. They chased me through the forest high above on their flying brooms, their cackling laughter echoing through the trees. As I turned a corner, a cackling witch jumped out at me, her face twisted in a manacled grin. I screamed and fell to the ground, clutching my chest. I scrambled to my feet and kept running. I could hear the witches closing in on me, their taloned fingers scraping against the trees. I knew that I had to find a way out of the forest before it was too late. Suddenly, I saw a glimmer of light in the distance. I ran towards it, my heart racing. As I drew closer, I saw that it was a small cabin nestled in a clearing. I burst through the door and collapsed onto the floor. Lucky for me, the door had been unlocked. I was panting and gasping for air. The cabin was small and musty, with a fire crackling in the hearth. I knew that I was safe for now, but I also knew that the witches were still out there, waiting for me. As I lay there, catching my breath, I heard the same cackling laugh outside. I knew that the witches had found me. I looked around the cabin for something, anything that could help me defend myself, but there was nothing. I was defenseless. Suddenly, the door burst open and the witches entered the cabin. They were even more terrifying up close. Their eyes glowed with a malevolent light, and their talons glinted in the firelight. "Time for a sacrifice," one of the witches hissed. I closed my eyes, waiting for the end, but then I heard a voice from outside. "Stay away from her." It was a man's voice, strong and sure. I opened my eyes and saw a figure silhouetted in the doorway. The witches continued to cackle, but the man did not back down. He charged into the cabin, his sword flashing in the firelight. There was a flurry of movement, and then the witches screeched and flailed, as the man was too quick for them. He swung his sword with practiced precision, and the witches fell one by one. Finally, the witches cackled no more, and there was a silence. The man sheathed his sword and turned to me. "Are you all right?" he asked. I nodded, still in shock. "Come on," he said, extending a hand. "Let's get out of here." He led me out of the cabin and through the forest. We walked for what felt like hours until we finally emerged from the trees. The man was a hunter, he explained, and he had been tracking the witches for years. He had finally found them, thanks to my unwitting help. I thanked him profusely, still in a daze. "It's all right," he said. "You're safe now." But even as he spoke, I could feel the witches' malevolent energy lingering in the air. I knew that they were not truly gone. They would return, and they would seek their revenge. From that day forward, I never ventured into the forest alone again, but even as I tried to forget the horrors that I have witnessed, I could still hear the witches' cackling laughter in my dreams. It all started when Lucy was walking home from school one day. She had a long day and was looking forward to getting home and relaxing. As she strolled down the street, she noticed a strange figure standing in the shadows of an alleyway. It was a very tall, dark figure, approximately 7 feet. He was wearing a black shining robe and a large pointy hat. She couldn't make out the figure's face, but she could feel a strange power coming from him. Lucy was a bit scared, but she decided to approach the figure anyway. As she got closer, the figure said in a deep voice, "Greetings, young one. I am Morden, a powerful wizard, and I have come to offer you a special gift. Would you like to hear what it is?" Lucy was hesitant, but she nodded and said, "Yes, please tell me." The figure then began to speak in a gentle, calm voice. "I can offer you the chance to gain mystical powers beyond your wildest imagination. You will have the power to do anything you wish, and the world will be at your command. All you have to do is accept my offer." Lucy was both mesmerized and scared by the offer. She didn't know what to do, so she decided to take a chance and accept the offer. Morden then took out a crystal ball and began to chant in a strange language. As he chanted, Lucy felt a strange warmth and tingling sensation throughout her body. Suddenly, Morden stopped chanting and smiled. "It is done. You now have my blessing, and with it, the power to do anything you wish." Lucy was overjoyed and thanked Morden for his gift. She asked him to stay for dinner, but he refused, saying he had to leave. Lucy watched as Morden walked away, and she could feel a strange power emanating from him and herself. Over the next few days, Lucy noticed that strange things were happening to her. She could feel a power coursing through her veins, and she was starting to realize the true extent of Morden's gift. She also noticed that she was aging much slower than usual. At first, Lucy thought this was all a good thing, but then she started to realize that Morden had not given her a gift, but had instead stolen her soul, as she had lost control of her body. He had taken her freedom, and her life was now in his hands. No matter what she did, she couldn't break free from his control. One day, Morden called Lucy to him and told her that she must now do his bidding. He said that he wanted her to steal the souls of others and bring them to him. Lucy was horrified, but she had no choice. Morden had complete control over her, and she had to obey. Lucy was now trapped, and she had no choice but to do Morden's bidding. She had to steal the souls of innocent people and bring them to Morden. He promised her that if she did this, his appetite would be satisfied and he would simply disappear for another 10 years. She was horrified that these innocent souls would be eaten, but by this time, Lucy was just a mindless corpse. Morden was now controlling everything she did. So day after day, Lucy went out and performed her task, stealing the souls of unsuspecting victims. Finally, after months of hard work, Morden told Lucy that she had done enough and he was now satisfied. He told her that she could now go free, but warned her that if she ever revealed his secrets, he would take her soul and eat it as well. Lucy was relieved to be back in the driver's seat of her body, but she was also scared. She had seen the evil that Morden was capable of, and she knew that he was a powerful and dangerous being. She vowed to never reveal his secrets and kept her promise. To this day, Lucy still lives in fear of Morden the Dark Wizard and the power he holds over her. She lives a normal life, but she is always aware that Morden is lurking in the shadows, waiting for her to slip up so that he can steal her soul. She is also aware that no matter how hard she tries, she can never escape Morden's grasp. He will always be there, waiting to take her soul if the time comes.